Hey, what's up? This is Chosen, and this video is going to be a beginner's guide to the clan boss, so let's get into it. Alrighty, so in Raid Shadow Legends, when you join a clan, you will have the ability as a team to fight against the clan boss, both individually and as a team. It's a sum of everyone's damage against the boss, and then when you defeat that boss, you get a reward as a clan. The clan boss resets once a day, and you generate a clan boss key every 6 hours. You can hold a maximum of 2, which means you're going to want to fight the clan boss at least once every 12 hours so that you are doing your part in contributing to the clan boss fight. I guess I can pull it up here. So yeah, when you're in a clan, this section here, clan boss, and then you'll see up at the top here, this is your keys. And something that some beginners don't know is you can actually click on this to see how long until your next one generates. So you click on this and it says I'm going to be at max keys in 3 hours and 42 minutes. So hopefully I can do a battle before then. That way I'm not sitting at max keys. You don't want to sit at max keys because then you're wasting time generating. It's the same concept as sitting at max energy. If you're at max energy, you're not generating any energy. So try to make sure you're not sitting at max keys so that you're doing the most you can to contribute to your clan's goal of defeating the clan boss. Now, most clans are going to want someone that attacks twice a day. People that are really active and doing a really good job of checking and playing often are going to attack the clan boss about 3 times a day. So as long as you're attacking 2 times a day, your leader is probably going to be happy with what you're doing. Now, the way the mechanic of the fight works is you go against the clan boss and it's going to start as a void affinity. That's what this icon here on the top right of the hard difficulty one is. The clan boss will always be void affinity to start out. When it gets damaged down to 50%, it's going to switch affinities randomly, and it can never be void. It'll switch to magic, spirit, or force. It won't ever stay void. And that's why you'll see up here the easy and the normal boss, they switched affinities. The easy one switched to force at 50%, and the normal one switched to spirit at 50%. So what this means is it's kind of an incentive for players to have a more well-rounded roster instead of using the same 6 heroes every single time against the clan boss. You're gonna, want a few other options depending on the affinity. But the way that the clan boss works, especially for beginners, is damage over time effects like poison and HP burn are kind of your best sources for damage in general, unless you have a really GG character in terms of attack. Like some, early to mid game players will use Relic Keeper because they're usually gearing one and maxing one out anyway to farm the campaign, and he hits pretty hard, so you can bring him to clan boss fights, and he's still a better option than anything else that you have developed yet. Now, late game, this kind of changes. This is kind of a beginner's guide, so I'm not going to get into it super in-depth maybe later down the road if I do an advanced clan boss guide. But, later on, there's masteries called Giant Slayer and War Master, and they kind of change the meta. It's the Minotaur grind for the scrolls, and then the meta kind of shifts and changes when you get into these hard and brutal fights for the clan boss. Now, the fact that there is a nightmare difficulty is kind of interesting because currently in the game, for campaign, we have normal, hard, and brutal. So I wonder if this means at some point down the road in a patch, we will get a nightmare campaign where it costs 10 energy per fight instead of 8 like in brutal. Because right now the campaign goes from 4 to 6 to 8 for normal, hard, and brutal. I wonder if we'll get a patch where we get nightmare released and it goes 4, 6, 8, 10. So kind of interesting, just a little thing I observed there. But yeah, so one important tip as a beginner that I would recommend everybody does on like a new account. Also, first, I should say, by far the best starting character is Kale in terms of a beginner being able to contribute to the clan boss fights. So if you're watching this before you have even started playing, if you're gonna want that early to mid game relevancy in the clan boss fights, Kale is definitely your best starting option. Aethel used to be the best because her weaken would make damage over time effects do more damage against the clan boss, but that was just recently changed, and weaken now only affects like attacks. It won't affect damage over time effects like poison. So Aethel used to be incredible even early to mid game versus the clan boss, but now it's Kale. In terms of the starting champions, Kale is hands down the best early to mid game starting champ against the clan boss, and it's because of his poison abilities. So I guess I'll pull him up and explain how this mechanic works in the clan boss and what makes Kale so good. So Kale's ability here, his A1, which means it has no cooldown, he can do it at any point in time that it's his turn, has a poison by default. So that's really good to have an ability with no cooldown that's always going to have a chance to apply poison to the clan boss. But he also has this ability, attack 4 times at random, and in a clan boss fight you're only fighting one enemy, so it means it's going to attack the clan boss 4 times, and each one has a 40% chance of placing a 5% poison debuff for 2 turns. Now I do have another video where I go over all of the buffs and debuffs in the game. I will try to remember to put that down in the video description, so definitely check that out if you're not familiar with this type of stuff. But on poison, there's 2 variations. There's a minor version, which is 2.5%, and then there's a major version, which is 5%. And we'll see here on the A1, he has a 2.5% poison, but on this A3, he's got a 5% poison. And sometimes, you know, characters will need to be ascended to get that change from 2.5 to 5% to occur, so it's basically twice as effective. Now, let me also explain how this kind of works, because it can be kind of confusing for newer players. Attack 4 times at random, has a 40% chance of placing a 5% poison debuff for 2 turns. That does not mean that 40% of the time he will place the poison. I should start off with one like this maybe. Yeah, okay. This is simpler. Attack 1 enemy with an 80% chance of placing a poison. This does not mean that 80% of the time he'll place a poison. It means 80% of the time he will attempt to place a poison. And then after that, it comes down to the aggressor's accuracy roll versus the defender's, or not roll, the aggressor's accuracy score versus the defender's resistance score. So there's a little interplay there between accuracy and resistance. So for a character that is placing poison or certain effects on the enemy, you're going to want them to have accuracy. Usually we try to get this with substats. So you'll have a helm with accuracy as a substat or something. If not, there is a set for accuracy, and you can also get it on like armor, and you can have the main stat be accuracy and stuff like that. But accuracy is going to be important for characters who place things on an enemy. So you have an 80% chance when you do this that you're going, now 2 times out of 10, 20% of the time, your accuracy score will be irrelevant because they won't even attempt to place it. 20% of the time, he's not even going to attempt to place the poison, even if his accuracy score is 1,000. But 80% of the time, he's going to attempt to poison, and then it's going to come down to Kale's accuracy versus the clan boss's resistance. So the higher your accuracy, the larger chunk of that 80% of the time you will be successful. That's kind of something that people need to understand, and I see a lot of people asking about on the channel that new players don't kind of grasp. I hope I did an okay job explaining it. If I didn't, drop your question down in the comments, and maybe I can type it out better and explain it. But yeah, that's how the poison and kind of applying debuffs kind of works, and it's very good against the clan boss because it's based off of the HP of the clan boss. You notice how it's a percent application, 2.5%. That's why also HP burns are really good, and also characters that do damage based on enemy max HP. Let me pull up one that does, that I can think of off the top of my head. In the High Elves, the Royal Guard has this ability called Takedown, where damage increases according to enemy max HP. So that ability is going to hit really hard against the clan boss. It can hit for, you know, upwards of 200,000, even for like a 5-star character, if it crits. So abilities that scale in accordance to enemy max HP are going to hit the clan boss very hard. And also, how I just went over poison, abilities that are based off of a damage over time are going to scale really well against the clan boss. Now, I want to go over a couple champions for beginners that can help you feel relevant against the clan boss. Ideally, when you're starting, your goal should be to do 500,000 damage against the clan boss, like when you're kind of a low level. And then start striving to do that 1 million, hit that 1 million mark. If you're in a beginner clan and you're doing 1 million damage every attack, and you're attacking 2 or 3 times a day, you should be pulling your weight. Now, obviously, it keeps ramping up, and you're going to want to get to the point where you're doing millions and millions of damage, but if you're a beginner, you want to try to get to that 1 million mark, and it is very realistic if you follow kind of these steps here. You can build yourself 2 Outlaw Monks, and they will do like 400,000 a piece. They'll almost get you to that million mark by themselves. The Outlaw Monk is here in the Sacred Order, and it's right here. This Force Affinity Champion, uncommon, very easy to get. You're guaranteed to get Outlaw Monks. All you have to do is open up green shards and look in the market, and you will find him. And then it only takes 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. It only takes 5 Outlaw Monks to max out his skills. You can use duplicate Outlaw Monks to max out the skills. And when you get this to a -1 cooldown, look at this. Places 2 5% poison debuffs on a target for 2 turns. As far as commons and uncommons are concerned, the Outlaw Monk is hands down way knocking it out of the park in terms of usefulness against the clan boss. A very GG character in terms of beginners doing well against the clan boss. So I would recommend, if you don't have like ridiculous luck in epics or legendaries, at least level yourself 1 Outlaw Monk. And you can take an Outlaw Monk to 5 stars. Take him to level 50. So what? Down the road, you can use him as a 5-star as food to make yourself a 6-star. Down the road, late game, when you have really GG characters and you don't need an Outlaw Monk anymore, you can still use him as food, worst case scenario. So you're not really losing anything by taking him to 5-star. Now don't do that over your campaign farmer. Take your campaign farmer to 5 or 6 stars first, and heroes that you use in the arena and stuff. Don't prioritize your Outlaw Monk on top of, like, you know, your campaign farmer and your arena team, but eventually work yourself towards getting a 4-star, a 5-star Outlaw Monk to help you in those clan boss fights, and you can even level up 2 of them. Why not? You know, bring a healer or something to buff your speed, 2 Outlaw Monks, and then like 2 damage dealers if you're a beginner against the clan boss. Why not? The poison, he will outshine most like damage dealers early in the game. So there's also a couple other ones like the Brute and the Orgaran tribes. Where are we at here? Uncommon, like this Brute right here. It's kind of cool because on his A1, which has no cooldown, he's got a chance to place a 5% poison. So that's kind of another one to look out for. The Brute and the Outlaw Monk are going to be kind of good introductory characters that beginners can realistically get and max out their skills to help them, you know, contribute against the clan boss. And then one kind of like extremely insane character against the clan boss is Juliana. Now, Juliana does crazy damage against the clan boss, and I'll kind of show you why. So the A1 is going to help fill her turn meter so she gets more turns, and then the A2 is going, it has this ability here, place a 5% poison debuff on the target for 3 turns. Most poisons are 1 or 2 turns. This is place a 5% poison debuff for 3 turns if critical. And then this ability here, she also places an HP burn for 3 turns, 75% chance. So Juliana has 3 abilities that either fill the turn meter or apply some sort of damage over time buff against the clan boss. So Juliana is, like, as far as an epic is concerned, is insanely good against the clan boss. So if you can get her early to mid game, kudos to you. Definitely develop her and use her against the clan boss. So I wanted to at least go over kind of one really good, like, epic hero instead of just covering kind of the basics of the Brute and the Outlaw Monk. But yeah, trying to think if there's anything else I need to cover. The clan boss resets once a day. It switches affinities. Trying to think if there's anything else I'm missing. Oh, like your stuns and your freezes and stuff like that do not work against the clan boss. So all of that stuff is worthless, and that's, you know, not going to be useful for you at all. So you want characters that either heal or buff the speed of your team, or apply damage over time effects like HP burn or poison, or just hit insanely hard and do really good compared to what else you have available to you currently. But yeah, I think that covers most of it. So if you have any questions or think of anything that I didn't cover that you have a question about, definitely let me know down in the comments and I'll do my best to reply and help you out. So as always, thank you for watching. Have a good rest of your day. Peace.